Dearest Super Friends, this is Lady Elena from Technically a Conversation, and I've got some tea to spill. If you would like to receive that tea 1 week early, ad-free, and get some really cool stickers that are voted by you, then please subscribe to our Patreon. I really don't want to start an OnlyFans page, and your Tío Pepe from Sunland Park has already resorted to selling feet pics on the interwebs. And Lord knows what Isela will get herself into. Please help stop the madness. Lucky for you, all we are asking for is $2 a month as opposed to the $5 Tío Pepe is charging per toe. And who knows, we might throw in some feet pics in there for you for subscribing, if you're into that kind of thing, of course. But those will cost you more than the $2. Support us by logging into patreon.com/technicallyaconversation or check our show notes.
Love haunted stories but hate how there's no resolution? Yeah, me too. Time for that to change. A single mom and 2 kids were living in a haunted house in East Austin for 7 years before they finally got a team to help. This haunting comes complete with disembodied voices, shadow figures, cat ghosts, and someone being scratched and even thrown. Find out how this team was able to expel the spirit next on Technically a Conversation. Greetings, super friends. Welcome to another episode of Technically a Conversation. Here, we like to share an interesting topic or story with each other, which we've recently learned and hope you find it interesting too. I'm one half of your host today, Isela. Joining me as always is the ever optimistic Jose. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Not bad. I know we're both feeling slightly, not totally under the weather, but not ourselves. How about we'll say that.
Yeah, well, speak for yourself because I am under the weather. So I apologize in advance if I start coughing or anything. I'll try and mute myself before I do.
That's okay. I get it. Yeah, I think I just kind of yelled my brains out this weekend. And I think you are just more you got like a cold, like that everybody's getting.
Yeah, I think it's just a cold. Hopefully it's not COVID.
Oh, Jesus, I hope not.
No, I don't think it is. It doesn't seem as bad as I heard COVID is. So
okay. Well, you know, Trump said it's only like a cold or something. I think that's what he was saying at the beginning.
I have no reason not to trust him, so.
A little bit of news that I saw that I thought would be interesting. I know this is not going to be something that would be probably on your radar, but I read it and I was like, I wonder if Jose heard about this. This lady in Eastern Europe was using this like big rock as a door stopper. It's like a 7-pound rock, so she could prop open her door. Did you hear about this door stopper?
No.
So it's a 7.7 pound door stopper that she used for years. And then someone came over to her house and they said, hey, I think that's fossilized amber.
Oh, wow.
Turns out it's like it's almost 70 million years old. And she was using it as a door stopper. So she sold it to her local government. Her local government promptly put it on the National Treasure list. Kind of cool, right?
Yeah. Do we know how much the government gave her?
I don't. I mean, probably not enough, I'm sure.
No. Hopefully it was enough for her to buy another door stopper.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yes. I certainly hope she was able to. And then all the bragging rights she gets. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Although, do you want to brag about that?
Well, maybe not. I think I would have probably just kept it had I known what it was. But
then you don't really get to do all the research, like what's in there. I mean, she didn't know it was 70 million years old or roundabouts.
True.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Anyway.
Yeah, that would be really cool to have, though. It's like my door stopper is a piece of amber that's 70 million years old.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of a flex.
It is quite the flex. Yeah, I'd be afraid. Oh, and she even said she did not think that it was worth anything because her house had been broken into. And they didn't steal that at all either. That's one way to know. Those damn thieves.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not very easy to fence that. Or at least not as easy as fencing a computer or a PlayStation or something.
Yeah, for sure. So it's starting to become my favorite time of year when like the crisp chill is in the air, in the mornings. Makes the pumpkin lattes taste a little bit better.
The crisp 90-degree air. Yes.
No, in the mornings, it's like a good 70 already.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, mornings are like 70 degrees. It's really nice.
I have a feeling you leave your house before the sun is out.
Pretty much, yes. I start seeing it turn orange. Yeah. It's really pretty though, because the sky looks like it's on fire. It's real pretty. But another reason why I love this time of year is this is just when people, for some reason, start sharing their ghost stories more freely. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
It's also my favorite time of year because of that.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. I just love hearing ghost stories. But I have to say, I hate that they never have a resolution. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want the stories neatly buttoned up with a bow, right? The coquette bow that's in right now. I want like the follow-up story. Like, why was the house haunted? And for the love of pumpkin spice, can we get these houses cleaned already? How long has Perone house, that conjuring house, been haunted? People still go there so they could be all creeped out and haunted. You know what I mean?
I would be happy with any evidence that's not anecdotal.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's all we normally get.
Well, but isn't that what it is? They're all N of ones. They can't not be anecdotal. I don't know how they would be. What are you expecting then?
I guess for it to be something that scientists can actually go there and study and say, you know what, we've ruled every single possible thing out.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. But I think, isn't that what like all those silly ghost hunters, like they're doing all these things to, I don't know. They take slow motion video to see if they can see anything and capture any kind of, I don't know. But then you can't recreate it. You can't be like, hey, ghost, can you go buy that thing again? Can you set off that detector again? I don't know.
But I guess it depends on who's doing it, though. Because that one couple that they were really well known for doing all that shit and like The Conjuring is based on them. I mean, like that guy was a huge fucking con artist. And like, he even...
The Warrens?
Yeah, the Warrens. There you go. It depends on who you get. You're not going to get like just some asshole off the street to come investigate. You're going to get an actual scientist.
Okay, so question. Do you think that the Perone house was not haunted and you think they were just full of shit?
Which one was the Perone house?
The Conjuring house. I think that was also part of the Warren things.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were full of shit.
Oh, so you think the house is not haunted?
No.
Oh, interesting. Because a lot of people have stayed there and they're always like talking about how weird it is. I mean, it could also be the power of suggestion, right?
I think it's probably more that than ghosts. But it's similar to like the whole Amityville house too, where like it later came out that it was all fabricated.
I didn't hear about I heard of the Amityville story because I think that's where the guy killed his parents and his whole family or whatever.
I believe that part of the story is true, but like the whole, the guy waking up at 3 a.m. and going out to the boathouse and almost murdering his family, all that stuff was not real.
Oh, I don't know. You can't have that much evil inside a house and expect it to go away. That is kind of weird. I don't know. Anyway, why are we talking about hauntings? Because today, that's right, it's never too early to start talking about it. We're going to talk about a house haunting in East Austin, Texas. That's right, our home state. Well, technically your birth state.
I've tried to divorce myself as much from Texas as I possibly can.
Hey, you know what? There's great people in Texas. And there's also some really shitty people in Texas as I say that.
Both can be true.
At the same time. That's right.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of house haunting that ran the family out of the house. It even sent them to a hotel a couple of different times. The best part is there is an actual resolution to the haunting. I am gifting you this story complete, like I said, with that little coquette bow.
Nice. Let's see if it turns a believer out of me.
I would really ask you to listen to this. There's 4 parts to it, but I would really want you to listen to the 4 parts so you could give it a fair shot. Because I will say it is easily the most compelling story I have ever heard. And this is as close to making me as a believer as possible. I'm going to say that, which says a lot. So this comes from a really awesome podcast. Like I highly suggest if you guys like scary stories but you get to hear like the backstory and you get to hear people telling their stories. And I don't know, it's really interesting. The podcast is called The Night Owl Podcast. They all have different series. So, if it's a haunting out of a museum, there's like 3 episodes on that. They even did a series on a haunted house. Not an actual haunted house, like a home, but those ones that you pay to go into.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That one was really cool. This series that I'm going to sum up these 4 episodes into one, the series is called The Demons That Haunt Us. So trust me, I've gotten another super friend hooked. They love it. Link in the show notes.
Show notes.
All right, let's go down the who, what, where. Well, I guess the where we already know, right? East Austin, Texas. But let's move on then to the who's being haunted. The family consists of Luna, which is the single mother of 2. Her eldest son is 17-year-old Finn, and she has also a daughter, 7 years old, Shiloh. For 7 years, little things have been happening and big things have been happening. Luna, the mom, she's really tried hard to ignore it. She was losing sleep. Her son also was losing sleep. He was seeing things move out of the corner of his eye. Luna described it as like a real heavy presence inside the house. She even said it was essentially debilitating. This feeling would even make Finn, the son, the 17-year-old, sleep on his mom's bedroom floor because he couldn't stand sleeping in his own room. Dude, at 17 years old, I feel like kids are usually just wanking it all the time. Those boys are wanking it all the time. That's got to be a sacrifice for him to go sleep in his mom's room.
It's funny because that's what I was thinking too.
Okay, see, thank you. Oh, this is why we get along.
Unless he just waited for the mom to fall asleep.
Ay, wakala. Maybe the ghost was jealous. I'm just kidding.
Or maybe it was the stepmom. You know how they have those porns that it's like, kid fucks his stepmom and his stepdad. And you're like, hold on, wait, how does that happen?
Yeah. Gross. What? Yeah. How does that math out?
Yeah.
So her experiences, her being the mom, they include just little things. Let's talk about little things. Like she would feel a cat rubbing on her leg. But then when she looked down,
it was the son.
Nothing was there.
Oh.
No, it was the son. Yeah, it was the daughter, the 7-year-old. And another time, she said she was pulling up the carpet so she could install those wood flooring panels herself. And while she slept in the bed with her daughter, the tools were, that they were using to install the hardwood floors, they were on the bed, but they were somehow picked up and thrown into the far corner of the bedroom. And it was just her and her daughter. So Mr. Super Skeptical, any ideas how that could happen?
Maybe carbon monoxide poisoning. That's been found to be the cause of a lot of people's hauntings, supposed hauntings.
Yes, they start to hallucinate and stuff, right?
Exactly. And it happens more often than you would imagine.
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah, absolutely. That could be it. Maybe they hallucinated and just hallucinated picking them up.
Maybe they just dropped shrooms together or something. I don't know.
Her and her 7-year-old daughter, Calvala.
Yeah, parents do funny things with their kids, so.
No, this parent does not. Anyway. Her son, Finn, also experienced his range of things from small to much more traumatizing experiences. Small things like Finn heard an old man's voice tell their dog to shut up when the dog was barking. I mean...
I do that to my neighbor's dog all the fucking time.
You're going to be a ghost like that. Then. You're going to be that disembodied voice. I have heard that dogs can see or sense other things that we can't. Maybe that ghost didn't like that he was like blowing his cover or something.
Sure. There was one case where this family did think that they were haunted because they would hear stuff happening like on the other side of the wall.
Right.
And when they would go over there to see, there was nothing. But the dog would always be barking at at the wall. And like this happened for like weeks, I think, where they would hear stuff like noises. They would go run to the other side. There would be nothing there until one day, I guess they decided to make a hole in the wall. And they found there was like a giant rat behind the wall. And that was what was causing all the noise and why the dog kept on barking.
Oh, that's creepy. Oh, I mean, I'd rather it be a rat than a ghost. I'll be honest.
Should I rather it be a ghost than a fucking rat?
Really? You're like my Casper friend? Come over and hang out with us. That's funny. Well, thankfully, the youngest has a minor story. The youngest being the 7-year-old daughter, Shiloh, rather. She did say that she had seen some things. I'm going to play you this first video. Remember, she's 7 years old, so it won't be like super clear, but there's also some things going on in the back when he was interviewing her. So hopefully you can kind of hear her story.
Shiloh, have you had anything happen in the house before?
Yes, a few things.
You want to show me?
Sure.
Come.
Okay, the first one was in this room. Sometimes when I watch TV, I see a male figure go this way, and one time it was a small male figure go this way. But it was really fast.
Are they clear or are they kind of shadowy?
They're black.
Black in as far as color or actually like black people?
Black people.
Oh, okay.
So this little girl says, I see some things. And she says, I saw this like black thing come out or something. And he says, oh, like a shadow figure or a black person? And she says, definitively, no, it was a black person. Okay, so she saw some things. To a couple of extreme cases for Finn, he had taken a shower and for some reason he felt like his back had started to sting. So he asked his mom to lift up his shirt so she could look at the back. And there were 4 scratches on his back and 3 on his arm. Dude, like, nah, bro. Like, I don't know about that. I don't know how you can scratch your own back. 3 like that. That's crazy. Or 4 scratches. I don't know. Like, treat me like the Mona Lisa or a stripper. You can look, but don't touch type of thing. You know what I mean? Nah, son. That's not cool. So here's a real question. If you heard a disembodied voice telling your hypothetical poochie to shut up, what would you do?
I guess I would try and find where that source of that disembodied voice came from.
So
I guess like in my scenario, I would, since I have a lot of smart speakers and cameras in my house, I would see if one of them might have been hacked maybe. I would see if there would be anything like in the history. You know, I would go outside to see if I can hear like a neighbor that's yelling.
So of the 2 things that I told you he experienced, would you prefer the scratches? Because this is something you know for sure. There's no, like, a scratch is a scratch, as opposed to like, I think I heard that. Was that because I was falling asleep? Like that type of thing where we start talking ourselves out of it.
I think if I heard a voice, it would be easier to talk myself out of it. You know, because...
Right, that's why I'm saying, would you prefer the scratch? Because it's almost irrefutable. You're like, I did not do that.
Well, again...
Are you the person who always says you want to see a ghost? Like, if you could have your experience, what would you choose?
Well, you know, again, just because he doesn't know where the scratch came from doesn't automatically mean that it's a ghost. They have pets, so it could have been one of the dogs and he just didn't remember. And it didn't really click to him until he started taking a shower and, you know, that kind of made the wound kind of burn a little bit. Who knows, you know, but just because you can't explain something doesn't mean that it's something supernatural automatically. Just means that you don't have an explanation for it. It could be because he couldn't remember how it happened. He could have scratched himself with something in the bathroom. Maybe it was a coil sticking out of his bed. Who knows how he scratched himself? But, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a ghost just because you don't know how it happened. I get bruises and scratches on my body all the time. Just because I can't remember where I got those from doesn't mean that it was a ghost. It just means that I wasn't paying attention. I had something else in my mind. I was busy doing something else and I didn't notice how that happened.
I get bruises all the time too, but I think that really means that you and I are very clumsy. Like, that's really what it boils down to, unfortunately.
It's almost certainly true. And we're both probably very distracted because we have things on our minds.
Yeah, for sure. So there is definitely something up with the bathroom as a visual, just so you know what to envision. So when you walk into the main house, like there's a hallway and there's a first bedroom. That's the one that Luna hates, where she used to sleep in that one, but she sold it. But she did feel like someone was always staring at her. She said it felt awful. So she got out of that first bedroom and now she sleeps in the second bedroom down the hall. And across from that second bedroom is where that dreaded bathroom is that nobody likes. Luna said she's still feels like she's always being watched. But inside her bedroom, she feels fine. Like she can sleep, the kids can sleep, everything's fine. It's just like something about that bathroom. And that's where, the kid had that shower incident. The most extreme incident, Finn was explaining that he was staying up late listening to music because he was afraid to go to sleep. Very Nightmare on Elm Street. But also, can you blame him? He had gone to the bathroom in the middle of the night with his headphones on when unexplainably he was lifted up and thrown out of the bedroom. The mom heard that because, of course, her bedroom's right, or thrown out of the bathroom. Hopefully I said that right. When the mom heard that, because her bedroom was right across from the bathroom, she ran to him and she was like, "Are you okay?" She was asking him, and he couldn't even talk because the wind had been knocked out of him. And when he did finally speak, he said, "Get me a priest." Ay Dios, what? Like, this poor 17-year-old kid, I feel so bad for him. She even said that she felt bad that she didn't try harder to protect her family. And she thought, oh, well, my son is really strong. He can take it and that kind of thing. But I should say that she did have some people come over and try to cleanse the house, but nothing really worked. Speaking of other people outside the family anyway, coming in, as she was working in her garden one of the times, she said there was some man who was sitting outside of her house. And he asked her if she was one who lived there. And she said, yes. And he said, how do you like living in the house? And she's like, oh, I love it. And then she was like, who are you? And he's like, oh, I'm the realtor who sold you the house. And she was like, oh. And then she was like, yeah, I love it. And then he said, what's it like living in there with all those ghosts? What? What the hell? How did he know, though? You know what I mean? He explained that he had contractors that were fixing up the house that would absolutely not return. In fact, they left all of their tools. They left a radio. They didn't even want pay for the work that they did do that day. Dude, that has to be pretty bad. Who doesn't like money?
I know. So when you were telling me that some random guy went up and started talking to her, in my mind, I was thinking it was that creepy old guy from like the Poltergeist movie. I think it was Poltergeist 2 or whatever.
Yeah. That's funny. I mean, you could picture him that way, probably. That makes it cooler. Yeah. That's a stranger anyway, but let's talk about her friends. She did have one friend that told her, there's an old man in your kitchen. And for a short time, this friend lived with them, and he and the whole family smelled, and sorry, there's just no other way to say it, but shit, they kept smelling shit. Her friend called it the toilet demon. They kind of jokingly called it because it smelled like shit, which actually would be a cool band name. Toilet Demon, come on. That's awesome. Just kidding.
What was the name of that shit monster from Dogma? Do you remember? I don't know if you saw that movie.
Oh my God, I love that movie. Yes, I don't remember.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not on streaming anywhere, so I can't watch it, but I'll have to look it up. But I remember that there being that shit monster.
Yeah, I think I might own that movie on DVD still. Remember those things?
Yeah, I know that I have it. I'm just trying to remember if it's on DVD or VHS. It's kind of an old movie.
Oh my God, you have VHS. Look at you. You win. You win.
The only thing is I don't have anything to play it on if it's VHS.
Oh, that's true. You could probably go to Goodwill and find one.
Maybe.
Yeah. Now you got to find the space for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the most odd thing was that strangers did not smell it. So Luna was explaining how when people would come in, she'd be like, oh, excuse the smell. And no one else really smelled it. It was only the residents, the inhabitants who would live there. It got so bad that Luna asked her dad to help tear up the bathroom to see if maybe the pipes were broken or, just redo it so it could stop stinking. Here's something to note. When the dad would stay with them during this demolition, his drinking would go up a lot. And Luna did admit that this is something that her dad has struggled with. Another thing to earmark and keep in the back of your mind.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was because of the kids.
Isn't it always? I was just kidding. She added that everyone's always angry in the house or always yelling at each other. Luna honestly feels that it's really the house that broke up her and her ex. The moment the family does leave, everything is fine. They're happy and normal. It's just the house that's making them irritable and angry, etc. When Luna had suggested to go to a hotel for a few days when everyone was like ready to kill each other or something like that, I don't know. Both kids, they were like, let's get out. Like, no questions asked, let's get out. Finn shared that when he was 10 years old, here's something just important, it'll come up later. When he was 10 years old, he saw another little kid get caught in an electric gate, and it resulted in death. Her son called 911, but this was really deeply impacting him. That kind of stuck with him. Again, this is going to come up later.
Foreshadowing.
Yes. Luna felt completely desperate for answers, which I completely understand after hearing all this shit. She knew that she couldn't continue to stay in her home without some kind of change, some kind of improvement, amelioration, if you will. This is why she called the people in the Night Owl podcast. I don't really know how she found them, or I don't think she just looked up the Night Owl podcast. I don't know. It's possible. The smart strategy for the team, just so you know, is when there's a haunting and they're like, hey, you need to come here, you need to help us. The whole team, except for Sarah, Sarah's the psychic medium, everyone except Sarah goes to the house. They take the notes. They hear the stories from the family when they're sharing their personal experiences. And during this time is when they take all these EMF readings, like you said, to see if maybe there's gas leaks, those types of things, trying to debunk maybe why they're hearing noises. Is it the water heater? You know, stuff like that. They do try to debunk as much as possible. Then on a different day, they bring in Sarah, the big guns, to the unknown location. It's unknown for her. She is clairvoyant and clairaudient, meaning she can hear and see those who have passed. And Sarah does her own walkthrough without really anyone saying anything. And then she starts to disclose the spirits that she sees and she senses on the premises. And then you start to see how these things start to line up with what you've heard from the personal experiences of the family. So now that you know how it works, this is where in the episodes that Sarah's about to start her walkthrough, and before she started the walkthrough, as she was outside still, she had gotten this image the night before of an old man in the exact living room window. So when she pulled up to the house, she was like, this is the exact image I saw with that same old man looking through the window. She said he's intrigued, he being the old man inside the house that she can see that nobody else can. She says he's intrigued why there's a gathering of people outside. Sarah said that at night he likes to roam the house and look into rooms, and his tie is to the house, not to the people. And she couldn't tell if he died there, but she kept going like it's here in this hallway. So when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the other spirit that she senses in the house. Ooh.
Pack your body bags. We're going on a slaycation. Tim, what's a slaycation?
A slaycation is a murder or mysterious death that happens while you're on vacation.
If you like to mix humor with horror and travel,
join me, Kim Davis,
and me, Adam Tex Davis,
and me, Jerry Colbert,
as we look at the craziest slaycations that will have you asking, what the F is wrong with people? You can find Slaycation on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Just remember, getting away can be murder.
And we're back.
We're back.
All right. Did you sense any crazy people in your house? Any crazy spirits?
I always do, but I think it's because I have a mild carbon monoxide leak.
How fun for you. You get to hallucinate all day. Who needs mushrooms when you have your gas leak? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So, as promised, she did see another spirit there. And Sarah had mentioned it's an adult and it's an older lady, all in white. She did say she's like a nurse or a caregiver of some sort. You see how she's kind of like trying to put pieces together. But nurse, caregiver, they kind of sound one and the same. So she's like, I think this is who she is. No one ever saw that person in the family. Like, why did nobody talk about this lady? But apparently she was just like a very calm type of spirit. Okay, great. Calm spirits, fine. You can stay, right?
Yeah, she was chill. She would help with the chores, help watch over the kids.
Yeah, that's cool.
Free childcare.
Yeah. Right. Surprisingly, though, Sarah did say it's the old man that likes to stir up fights. She said he's very angry. He's a very angry and bitter old man.
And very MAGA.
Yeah, he would be pissed, of course. Just kidding. This would explain why the arguments happen in the house, like what Luna was saying. It's just this house. Remember how she was saying everyone's always angry at the house? It's him. Oh, and then Luna even said her ex-boyfriend, who did live in the house at one point, also put his hands on her. And she said he'd never done that before. There was never domestic violence until they lived in that house. Also kind of crazy. But another thing to think about, Sarah, as she's walking through, jotted down 2 names. The one that they talk about, Brian. And I mean, crystal clear, writes down Brian. Let's hear who Brian is.
Alexis and I heard a story from Finn. You don't have to go into too much detail.
There was this thing that happened on Shoal Creek. It was this tragic incident. I was one of the first people to show up there to try and help. As I was getting there, I feel like that's when Brian kind of started following me. And for, I think, a year or 2 after that, he stuck with me and followed me around. And I could have full-blown conversations with him. Like, we would people watch together. Like, we would watch people walk by on the street and then have a conversation about them. And I remember one day he just left. I don't remember saying goodbye or anything like that, but it's really funny that you thought of him when you were premeditating coming over here, because earlier today when I was in the shower, I thought of him.
So, kind of weird. And I mean, dude, it's honestly both super creepy and not gonna lie, kind of cool that she got that guy's name crystal clear. And when she came in and saw Finn, when Sarah came in and saw Finn, she was like, oh, like she knew that he had some kind of like light or gift or something that he could also talk to people on the other side, which is why he was saying after that kid died, he kind of stuck with him and they were able to have full-blown conversations. I don't think that would be a flex for a 17-year-old, but that's kind of crazy anyway.
Speak for yourself, Isela.
I don't know. That sounds crazy. I think like people would think you're crazy. But I mean, dude, who doesn't want to be Lydia from freaking Beetlejuice or something? Although they had more information, it still wasn't entirely clear who this old man was, the old, bitter, angry man. The podcast host, his name is Steven. He was able to find the name of the previous homeowner. His name is Oscar.
The Grouch.
Then he found his military draft card from World War II. He found the next of kin, and it was Nora. Steven's dad also likes to kind of help and like do some record researching. And the dad found the obituary from 2013 when Oscar had died. And all it said was no services held. Isn't that kind of sad?
Yeah.
From the deed history of 2013 of the house, once we know that he died, they found the name Tiffany, which was Oscar's oldest living granddaughter. Steven, the podcast host, reached out to her on Facebook, and he even joked around and, you know, he kind of jokingly said something like, hey, any chance, you know, he didn't want to tell her anything like, any chance your granddad's still haunting this house, you know, or something like, that's kind of a weird way to open up a conversation, right? So he was just like, let me kind of tread lightly and keep it vague type of thing. So he did. She finally responds back a couple of days later. And as they're talking, everything starts making sense because now the granddaughter fills in who her granddad, her dad's dad was. And she revealed that Oscar's first son, Oscar Jr., died really young. And this is why he became super angry and bitter with the world, drowning his sorrows at the bottom of all these alcoholic bottles, basically. now we know why everyone was so pissy pants. It was him, and he was upset at the world because the world took away his first son. He did go on to have other kids, of course, because that's how Tiffany came to be. But after Oscar Jr. died, he was never the same. He was not a good dad. He was not a good husband. He even hit his wife, just like what had happened with Luna. And then he moved in with his mom, and then his mom died. So he became this just sad, angry loner.
Like me.
You're not sad or angry. Tiffany said that although her granddad was very articulate, systematic racism against African Americans really did not let him become more than just a gas pump attendant. And that's, again, another reason to be angry and bitter at the world.
So he was MAGA.
He was. That's why. Shut up. But that's what that means is that Shiloh was right when she said, no, it was a black man. This little 7-year-old was right. Isn't that crazy?
What did the black man have to do with the story? I'm sorry.
He's the one that she saw, the black man. That's Oscar. Oscar was black.
Oh, I thought Oscar was a white racist guy.
No, he's black.
Oh, my bad. Then he's not MAGA.
No, that's why Tiffany said he was really smart, but because of systematic racism against African Americans, it didn't allow him to become more than just a gas pump attendant. That's all he was able to do.
Oh, I thought because he was so racist against African Americans, that's as far as he got.
No.
Okay, now I get it.
Okay. Tiffany, the granddaughter, also revealed that Oscar's mom, the one he moved in with, was really, really nice, very quiet, had a nursing facility. Boom! She's the caregiver in white that Sarah saw in Luna's bedroom. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy.
I'm telling you, I was like, what is happening? So the granddad was never really loving with Tiffany or any of the grandkids, but she still went by to check on him. He would never let them inside the house. He would just sit on the porch and greet them. From there, she would drop off grocery store cards to like H-E-B and stuff like that so that, you know, he could eat. She knew that he wasn't making a lot of money. And, you know, she eventually had to call Adult Protective Services because poor Oscar was defecating on himself.
That's where the house smelled like shit.
Like the poop. See how all these things are lining up, dude.
Everything is coming together now.
Loved cats. Yes. Maybe that's why he hated the dog. Yeah. Just get out of the way we did. But once Oscar passed away, the only person they told was the neighbor. Because again, he was a loner. He didn't have anybody listed as like, hey, this is my emergency contact type of thing. They told the neighbor who was supposedly taking care of the house. But this neighbor took out a reverse mortgage. They even got a car out in his name. And then his ashes were left in the hallway where Sarah kept sensing. And they were left there for like 30 days in just like this bag in a box, unattended. Like, I kind of can't blame him for being so pissed off at the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the granddaughter talks about when she grabbed the ashes and how she was going to spread them out. And it was kind of a cute story. Hopefully you can hear this.
I just felt as I was the oldest granddaughter. So I took him to Mount Bonnell. And the strangest thing happened. When I was putting his ashes, over the mountain, a wind came in and threw the ashes back on me. I was like, really? That's what
He didn't want to go.
No. But he lived to be 91. He was 4 days. He died on the 23rd. His birthday was February 27th.
Oh, my God. That's my birthday.
What? February 27th?
February 27th is my birthday.
Whoa.
So it's kind of funny. She says that she threw the ashes, but it came back in her face. And she was like, really? She was kind of like pissed that happened. But that was when they kind of joked around and they said, oh, he didn't want to go. And then it's uncovered that he died on Luna's birthday.
So that's why he was haunting Luna. because of the...
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think so, no.
Oh, I was trying to make more connections here. Sorry.
I know. I appreciate it. I think getting a little crazy with that now.
Trying to sell the story more.
Yeah. Tiffany and her mom went to the house with everyone to see if they could say goodbye to Oscar and kind of get him to go to the light. And Sarah had pointed out to Oscar, hey, everyone's here. They forgive you. They still love you. He genuinely seemed to feel remorseful. And Sarah's having like this full-blown conversation with this spirit, which is the part that's crazy. And you hear her saying, oh, is your son going to be there? I don't know. She's like, I don't know if she's going to be there either. I guess either his wife or his mom. And you hear how she says, I know that you're tired of being angry. And you hear him kind of regret all the time spent in anger. And you hear Sarah say, like, he's just showing me all these clocks flying past him. Like all this time just flew by him. And, he really regretted, again, all that time spent in anger that he couldn't get back. But as he's leaving, he was asking if she could walk him through the light. And she's like, I can only go so far. And then you even hear him say, can I take these 3 cats, the dead ghost cats? And she's like, yeah, take the cats. And you hear how, I guess, he goes into the light. It's super crazy. You want to hear it?
Sure.
He's not hiding. He's looking for something. He keeps saying, I need to answer the question, but I think what he's looking for is no longer there. It's an album, like a photo album. Okay. I get it. Show me the picture. There is a photo of, looks like him. No, not him. It looks like him. It's not him. And a small, I think it's you, small child. And he says, I did love you. And he keeps showing me the photo, and it's not there anymore. Can you come out? Because I can't hear you. He didn't know how. That's what he keeps saying. He didn't know how to accept. It's a shame. I know. You have to let that go. They're here. They drove all the way over here just for you. You need to tell them what you need to tell them. I know you don't want to be angry anymore. But they came for you, you see? You said nobody cared. That's not true.
That was in response to, apparently he was saying, well, the ladies were asking, how come he never loved us? How come? And he was trying to explain, I did love you. I just didn't know how to either accept it or I didn't know how to love you. Here's where he finally, I guess, goes into the light or whatever.
I don't know. I won't know until the door is completely open if you're going to see him or not. Or your wife. Or your mom. We'll find out. Yeah? The house is well taken care of. Your family's doing good. Yeah, you missed your chance. I'm sorry. I said I missed my chance. Missed my chance to be with my family. Here in this plane, yes, but not necessarily after that, right?
Right after that, you hear her saying, "Oh, see her hand? Grab her hand. Take her hand." It's the craziest. It's the craziest thing. But the cool thing is that it is a full year after all of this happenings, and they catch up with Luna and the family, and the house is finally a happy, unhaunted home. So, dude, wait, que loco, que pedo, güey. Like, tell me your thoughts. Like, this is crazy.
Well, everybody loves a happy ending, so I'm glad that it was a happy ending for the family that was living there and for Oscar the Grouch as well.
Oscar the Grouch is no longer Oscar the Grouch. He was Oscar the Repentant.
Yeah, very interesting. Very good story.
Yeah, it was fascinating. I was like, what am I hearing? What is happening? It was really wild. Anyway, so before we go, we got to shout out our amazing, kick-ass, wonderful patrons. Sophia, Natasha, Eric W., Angie, Eli, Mad Down Charity, Katya, Victor, Christine, Josh, and Eric J.
And Rebecca.
Oh, that's right, Rebecca. Thank you so much, you guys, from the bottom of our hearts. We cannot thank you guys enough.
Yes, we do appreciate it.
If you want to join this Superfly list, go to patreon.com/technically a conversation. It is a measly $2 a month. You cannot buy anything at HEB. Well, maybe you probably can. I don't know. For that amount.
Maybe some cat food?
I can't. $2, you think?
Maybe for your ghost cat. Your ghost cat has got to eat.
If it's invisible, I'm sure you could buy all kinds of. Yeah. But not only are you getting the episodes a week early, ad-free, get these little things out of here. Get. Cool stickers as well. So join the Superfly list if you dare.
I couldn't do a better laugh. Or else I would start coughing.
Aye. You also might hear some cool stories behind the scenes. I think that one, there should be a new BTS story coming up on the next go round. Just BT dubs in case you guys want to join early to get that.
Yeah, maybe you might hear some of the ghosts that haunt Isela and I also. Hear them on the microphones.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I need to hear them first.
Since we're riddled with ghosts also.
Wouldn't that be fun if they had like crazy voices? They're like, hello. I'm just kidding. Well, congratulations, lovelies. You guys have done it again, folks. You have learned along with us a very cool haunting in East Texas, complete with an ending. Finally.
Yeah, but then they're not going to be able to make a sequel if there's an ending. You got to leave it open.
It's not about the money, baby.
It's always about the money.
For you.
That's all the Warrens cared about. That's why they did all their shenanigans.
Is it? Oh, no. We hope you've been entertained by our chat and invite you to join us again next week. If you're enjoying the show, please leave us a 5-star review, tell a friend, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
Follow us on all the socials at greetingstac. Email us at greetingstac@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 915-317-6669 if you have a ghost story to share with us. I'm just kidding. Now I got all crazy.
You turned to the Joker for a little bit.
I was about to do like an ahua type of thing. Very Mexa ghost or something. I don't know.